yo, welcome to the Big Soul Podcast. I go by the name of Berto.
Your boy Beast on the beat.
And we got a special
And my name
guest.
is Royal Shepherd.
Okay, that's his name. Well,
Yeah,
anyway,
because
man.
y'all gave me another name the last time I was on this podcast.
What did we get? What was the name?
I forgot the name, though.
I think it was Royal Flush or something.
Yeah, Royal
goofy
Flush.
shit like that.
Yeah, Flush.
Right,
It was
lame.
Flush.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like Flush better.
Of course you do. You the one who created the name, bro.
Mr.
Well, anyway,
Royal Flush.
Anyway, man, today's podcast, what we're going to be talking about is all sports. We're going to talk about the MJ doc, man. What you think about the MJ, the whole MJ documentary, the whole 10 episodes?
Hey. First off, how you doing around this quarantine, man? How's the family?
Man, listen, we're doing great, bro, to be honest with you. Like, we still able to work during the quarantine. We still out here making the money, so our financial situation hasn't been changed. It's just been sitting in the house. You know what I mean? That's starting to get to you after 2 months.
What?
But for certain people who done been to jail for longer stints of time, it's kind of like you learn how to get out your own head with this. So.
Right. And you still got your daughter with you?
Yeah, my daughter's here, bro.
And she might as well just move in with you now, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know the boy been on that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but what you feel about MJ, man? How you feel about the MJ dog?
So the MJ doc was really interesting. It verified a lot of the things that I already believe, which is that MJ is the GOAT. Like, so, you know what I mean? It gave a lot of the newer generation opportunity to see MJ in that form. Like, they got to actually see real highlights of Michael Jordan, like, without uninterrupted, because it was the only thing on.
Right.
Now, one of the things that has come to my attention is that Michael Jordan ain't quite the realest of dudes, because he sit that whole documentary telling on everybody else but himself.
He's snitching. His black ass is snitching. Let's keep it real.
But he called out Horace Grant for being a snitch about a book. But yeah. Michael Jordan was talking about how when he first got there, all of his teammates was in the room doing cocaine, and he was the only one who wasn't doing that. Now that sounds like a nigga who doing
what?
It sounds like he the one doing the most dirt.
Yeah, what?
Yo, that's crazy, man.
What y'all boys feeling about it though?
I mean, to be honest, man, the only issue I had with the whole I guess the doc series was like people taking shots at LeBron, man. It's like every week people coming out of the woods taking shot at your boy Bron, man. I don't understand that at all. But overall, the doc was amazing.
First of all, Berto, that's not my boy.
But you're a Miami guy though.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with LeBron James.
But he played for Miami. He brought y'all two championships.
But I was a Miami guy before LeBron James.
But the man brought y'all 2 championships.
Wade brought him here, so technically Wade brought me 3 championships.
Boy, I'm not gonna lie. Yo, I've been a Lakers fan since day one. Everybody that's watching this that knows me, I've been a Lakers fan since day one. So you
Lakers?
guys, a Los Angeles Lakers fan. I've been an LA fan since day one. But the reason I bring this up is when Lakers was trash, I was a Lakers fan, and I'm gonna continue to be a Lakers fan. Y'all Miami guys, y'all don't like supporting LeBron. The man brought y'all 2 championships.
Wade brought us 3 championships. LeBron was there for 2 of them.
Any player that brings my team championship, I gotta rock with them.
That's your new guy?
Who?
Whoever brings the Lakers a championship, those are your guys.
Yeah, any player that help us get a championship,
you're
I gotta rock with
Fisher fan. You're a Derek Fisher fan.
Yeah, I always like Derek Fisher as a player. Yeah, he was a great. He was a great player.
He was drafted by the Lakers. But yeah, back to this Jordan doc. The reason that the LeBron James comparisons continue to be brought up every time this man is mentioned is because Michael Jordan is the only player that LeBron can be compared to at this stage. You know what I'm saying? So like most of the time, people get uninterrupted LeBron and they don't get an opportunity to see Jordan. Now, this is a form where Jordan has been brought to the forefront. Like, and now it's been put on display, like, yo, this is what this man was about. This is what he did. And it gave you more, like, depth than what you would normally get from a Jordan anything. You're just hearing old arguments, but you never really hear about the man as a beast of a basketball player. And this doc gave us the opportunity to see that.
True.
Bro, I also think, bro, the NBA is soft as hell, bro. To see what Jordan had to go through, The man would dominate today.
The man got beat up in the league, bro. That's all that happened, bro.
And for one more thing, I just want like not the whole '90s basketball, but like just hand checking. If we could just bring back hand checking, we'll be great. Like we'll be good.
Well, they're not going to allow hand checking back because you got to understand, like the way the NBA is played is about more than just the game itself. You know what I mean? It's about marketing. Now, what's more marketable? Is it more marketable for defensive players, or is it marketable to have a three-point shooting?
Right.
Like Steph Curry doesn't exist with hand checking because people just slap him in the arms the whole game.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like when you got an NBA that's trying to score more points, then you create rules that allow teams to score more points.
I mean, absolutely. But my whole thing is, at the end of the day, I didn't like the way. Throughout the documentary, I didn't like the way they tried Isaiah Thomas. Because if you really think about it, he was doing the same thing that the Knicks were doing. At that time, there was plenty of teams at the time was like the way they were playing physical and hard fouls. People forgot the Boston Celtics was doing that. And
that's the way basketball was played then.
And I didn't like the way, like Michael Jordan pretty much treated Isaiah Thomas was like, they basically made it seem like Isaiah was like, I'm not saying a bust, but like he didn't belong in the same conversation or in the same, in the table as them.
Yeah, so Isaiah Thomas has been historically disrespected by the NBA. Like overall, most places disrespect the type of player that Isaiah Thomas was. Isaiah Thomas was a dominant basketball player. Okay, like before like his era it came right after the Bird and Magic era. People make the assumption that Jordan came right after Bird. But no, like Isaiah was running the league for 2 years. Like Isaiah ran the league. I'm sorry, I'm playing Mad. But Isaiah ran the league for 2 years. And he was competing with Magic and he was competing with Bird. He wasn't really competing with Jordan. He was kicking Jordan's ass in the playoffs.
And if you really think about it, Isaiah's the only one that had a winning record against Magic, Bird, and Jordan. But a lot of people don't give him credit for that.
Yeah, the Bad Boy Pistons are one of the greatest teams of all time. Like, and they should be mentioned in a better breath, but they're not because people don't like the Pistons. It's the persona of the Pistons, what it looked like was happening out there.
And I remember like during like this All-Star game, like the one in Chicago, this All-Star that just passed this year. Isaiah was on First Take and he asked a great question because I guess a lot of people was hating on him because the All-Star game was in Chicago. And he asked a great question on First Take. He was saying to Max and Stephen A. He was saying that at that time when he went to the Hall of Fame and they did the announcement for the greatest 50, the best 50 players in NBA history, Isaiah said that everyone had at least one or two other guys with them in the Hall of Fame or considered to be in the top 50 of the greatest players
of all time.
And Isaiah said, I was the only one that was standing alone by myself. So if you look at it, Isaiah, like, and this is a conversation I had the other day with my brother and a couple people was like, if you take away John Stockman and put Isaiah Thomas with Karl Malone with the pick and roll, because you got to respect Isaiah offense and Karl Malone shot. I mean, imagine how many championship Isaiah could have won.
You got kind of a point there.
You sound like you disagree.
No, it's not that I disagree. It's just I don't really dig the hypothetical game. Like I don't really like to say if I put Isaiah Thomas with Karl Malone, like yeah, but John Stockton is also in his own right one of the top 50 greatest players of all time.
But he's not better than Isaiah Thomas.
In no way, shape, fashion, or form is he better than Isaiah Thomas. But just because you're a better player doesn't mean that you will make that team better. You know what I'm saying? Like Isaiah, there's a reason that John Stockton leads the league all time in assists. It's because he was great for that system. Right. Like Isaiah Thomas was a scoring guard.
He was more of a two. Like he was considered a two back then.
He was a scoring point guard. Well, Joe Dumars was definitely the two.
Yeah, but Joe Dumars, they considered Joe Dumars more of a point guard.
Joe Dumars did more facilitating than Zeke did. But yeah, like I think if you replace Stockton and Isaiah Thomas, then you have a completely different team. And who's to say that they make it to the finals? You know, maybe Karl Malone isn't as dominant with Zeke on the floor because Zeke needs to score.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
egos get in the way and stuff like that. So I understand.
I don't think they will get in the way because just because of the pick and roll, Isaiah would have worked great with him with the pick and roll.
But
that was basically the Utah whole offense with Karl Malone and
but it ain't just about the pick and roll. It's about the decision making of the pick and roll. So John Stockton's first decision of coming off of that pick and roll is to pass the ball to Karl Malone. Who's to say that Zeke's first choice would be to shoot it? He's a scorer.
Right.
Like, I can make this shot very easily, so I'm going to shoot it. I don't have to pass the ball to Karl Malone.
But I also feel if John Stockton was like an offensive guy, you know, if he was better offensively, they could have a chance to win. They would have been able to win a championship.
Okay, so let's get one thing clear. Nobody that played in the NBA during Jordan's prime was going to win the championship. Nobody. Jordan was the only person winning championships. Because the way the NBA was played back then is a defensive game. So games in the low 80s. But Jordan can score 50 points by himself.
No, Jordan games were, you said low 80s? That was more in Kobe's era, like in the early 2000s.
No, when Jordan was playing, games would be won
like
95. No. Like, there was an era in Jordan's career where there was high scoring. When Jordan was scoring the 63, that was early.
That was
in
early.
Jordan's prime,
Career,
in Jordan's prime, like, they were winning games 86 to 85. Jordan had 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's half of your team's offensive output.
Yeah.
Where in other teams, it takes 3 or 4 people to collect that amount of points.
Yeah, you do got a point there.
Like nobody's beating Jordan in that era in championships, bro. I just don't believe it's happening.
But, bro,
the closest team was Indiana, though. Indiana had a shot.
And so did New York, and so did Houston. I believe Houston, the 2 years that Jordan retired, the years that Houston won those championships, those Houston teams are vastly underrated because they only get attributed to championships because Jordan retired. But Hakeem Olajuwon and that squad, like, they would have gave Jordan them hell.
Because they did a great job surrounding Hakeem with a lot of shooters. But not only that, if you really think about it, the Chicago Bulls had issues with, like, legitimate, like, big men. That's why even with Karl Malone, they had issues with Karl Malone. Even they will show that in the doc. Karl Malone was a problem for them, like, during that series. And I feel like
Charles Barkley.
Yeah, as with Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley gets severely underrated in history, too, because of that whole not having a championship. But I believe this series also helped people like Charles Barkley because people got to see Charles Barkley was a dog, bro.
Yeah.
And a lot of things. The contract situation with, like, Pippen, that was an eye-opener, too. Like, whoa.
Well, and then, like, it brought to the forefront some of the things like Pippen not being the greatest teammate of all time. I do believe that the doc painted him in a terrible light. But I do believe that Pippen brought a lot of that onto himself. Right. Like, this is not us making it up. You actually did these things. You said that you wouldn't re-enter a game that was on the line. Mm-hmm. You took that stupid ass contract and wanted to complain about it, so you sat out. You chose security over the payday.
But here's the thing with the contract. I don't fault him. If you understand his situation about how his dad just had a stroke, his brother got an accident in a wheelchair, and they had about 8 or 7 people he had to take care of. At that time, if you really think about it, at that time when they were saying, everybody was saying that was a great contract at that time. The only issue they had a problem they had a problem was the length of the contract. They said per year it was a good contract, but they said I wouldn't sign I think it was a 7 to 8 year deal. They were saying the length deal. They said the length of the contract wasn't good. They said the length of the contract wasn't good.
Yes, but it was a bad contract. The owner of the Chicago Bulls told him not to sign this contract, and he signed it anyway for that security.
But listen, it was a risk at that point. It was a risk.
That is true. That is true. And then on top of that,
he could have been
Jordan
hurt.
Making $35 million. Yeah, Jordan making $35 million salary cap, only like $28 million at the time. So Jordan took up more than what the salary cap was. But, I mean, you ain't Jordan. Yeah. Nobody's making that.
But go ahead, Berto.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was going to change the subject to see how the game's different. Like, just watching the Game 6, the movie, bro, like, Karl Malone and John Stockton were the only 2 people to use the pick and roll.
Yes.
And to see how much pick and rolls, like LeBron era, how much they use the pick and roll. The game is so different. The man Michael Jordan would kill in this era.
Well, I don't know, because this is a era like that mid-range game that he got. Like it's tough to stop, bro.
Right.
Like Jordan couldn't be stopped in the mid-range, and that would kill in this game too. The no hand checking would definitely help Jordan, but in LeBron's case, you got to think like the athleticism of that league is nowhere near what it is now.
Yeah, but think about it.
Huh?
Think about it. That they also had defensive. Like now, you could play zone. Back then, you couldn't play no zone. Like it would be.
Back then, everybody played 1-on-1.
It was a tech.
Everybody played man to man.
Right. So you would get a tech, which means LeBron would have. Like we see LeBron now taking. We say LeBron played his best defense when he was in Miami. That was only for 4 years, right? So imagine him playing that, being on that top or that top tier for that length of time. Like, I don't think LeBron would survive like going through all that.
I think LeBron would have survived. LeBron physically, like as a basketball player, he's one of the most gifted that we've ever seen. So he would have made a way to kind of like survive the era, bro.
No, like, what I'm trying to say is like think about LeBron. Like when they played Tayshaun Prince, even though Tayshaun Prince was skinnier than the man, but Tayshaun Prince was long and he was a great defender. So what he could
guard all 5 positions.
What he was trying to do is get Tayshaun Prince to switch over to the big man, and that's how LeBron changed that. I think LeBron was instrumental in doing that. I'm not saying that he's the first one to do it, but he was instrumental in doing that. And
definitely. Like that. you have a point. LeBron James is instrumental in several ways that the game has changed. Because before him, like people weren't looking at a game being able to be played like this. You know what I'm saying? Like people didn't see like 6'9" primary facilitators being like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like a thing. Mm-hmm. Like LeBron James is a point guard, fam.
I mean, but we had glimpses of it. We had niggas like Scotty. Like Scotty was a bad man. Yeah, especially when I was talking about when Jordan went out the league.
And Grant Hill.
Just see how Grant Hill was a bad motherfucker too. So it was like
before he got hurt. A lot of people forgot before he got hurt. People thought he was gonna be the next guy to take over for Jordan. But then Kobe took it over.
I always get mad thinking about Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, and motherfucking Tim Duncan, bro.
And Derrick Rose, fam.
But I'm saying Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill and Tim Duncan was going to link up with the Magic in Orlando.
Yeah,
but fucking Doc Rivers didn't want Tim Duncan having his sponsors on his plane, so that's why Tim Duncan didn't go to.
It's crazy. Me and Beach was talking about it like like yesterday, and the other day, and I was telling him. Either way, they were still the Magic wouldn't be able to beat the Shaq and Kobe Lakers either way.
The Magic,
yeah.
You talking about with TMac?
If they had TMac, they had TMac, Tim Duncan, and
all of them healthy.
Bro, that's what I told Berto, bro.
Bro, listen, if all of them are healthy, then the Lakers don't really have anybody to guard that wing, bro.
I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Rick Fox on Grant Hill.
Rick Fox, Derek Fisher could guard the wing. Derek Fisher could guard the wing. Derek Fisher, he could guard. Listen, he could guard the wing. Derek Fisher was a great defender.
Derek Fisher ain't doing.
Derek Fisher was a great defender.
Well, I'm saying,
but he's not defending Tracy McGrady.
But that's what I was just about to say. You forgot what Tracy McGrady.
We would have put Kobe on TMac and Grant Hill.
He would have got his ass torched like he did getting torched.
Kobe
getting torched.
Hey, listen, Kobe came out and said that Tracy McGrady was his hardest defender. Was his hardest.
Let's not act like Kobe Bryant. Let's not act like
Kobe came out and said that. You know, Kobe came out and said that, right?
Yeah, he could guard Tracy McGrady.
He said that was his hardest problem.
Kobe would have whatever Tracy McGrady did,
bro.
Kobe would have outdo him regardless.
And you forgot back then.
Fan, so I'm going to chalk that up to ignorance.
Yeah.
No. I'm a basketball fan. I'm a basketball fan.
But Tracy McGrady,
he was not on Kobe's level.
What?
Bro, what
he was not on Kobe's level, bro. Tracy McGrady was great, but he was not on Kobe's level.
Prime, you're telling me Tracy McGrady was not on the same level as Kobe Bryant?
He was not on Kobe's level.
Yo, Beast, who
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing podcasts with out here, bro? This
I'm
man
He's not on Kobe's level.
He's a Lakers
man is
fan.
tripping.
He's a Lakers
Kobe,
fan. So
bro,
he's
yeah,
blind.
Bro, you're not choosing Kobe in his prime.
He's
Tracy
not
McGrady
being-
is in prime. You're not choosing Tracy McGrady over Kobe in his prime.
What?
I'm absolutely choosing Tracy McGrady.
No, then you're losing 10 times out of 10.
What?
You're losing 10 times out of 10.
Do you know who Tracy McGrady is?
Tracy McGrady couldn't even get out the first round.
He had no other All-Star.
Yeah,
He had no other
Eastern
All-Star.
Conference.
So,
He was in
brother,
the Eastern Conference. Let's be real.
brother,
And it's not like he went to Game 7. He was getting swept. He was getting swept.
Back then, the Eastern Conference was on par with the Western
But
Conference.
who?
What are you talking about?
What team? What team?
What you talking about? Back in the
'90s, I told him the Knicks.
No, we're not talking about the '90s. We're talking about the early 2000s.
2000s.
The Knicks were still good. They had Allen Houston with the Knicks. Who else they had?
They had Allen Houston.
Allen Houston with
Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, come on. That was a good team. Who was
bro,
they
come
had?
on. The early 2000s, the Heat had good teams in the early 2000s.
I mean, he knows that, but we already know that. But what other teams?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The New Jersey
they had
Nets,
championship teams?
Huh?
He had championship team?
No.
I'm talking about they had a good team, though.
But the early 2000s.
So you saying those teams that Tracy McGrady couldn't beat them?
Kobe Bryant didn't have Shaquille O'Neal on those teams. Bro.
Right.
Okay, okay. He had Shaquille O'Neal, but Shaq had Kobe. Okay, Shaq had Kobe, though. Shaq had Kobe. As good as Shaq.
But Shaq was the MVP of the league. Shaq was the best player in the league.
As good as Shaq was, he couldn't do shit. Shaq wasn't going.
He won 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs.
Listen. Okay. You're talking about the Finals MVPs. As good as Shaq was, he couldn't win a championship without Kobe. You know this, and I know this. Like when he had Penny Hardaway, he could not win a championship without Kobe. He didn't start winning a championship until Kobe became an All-Star. That's not my opinion. That's a fact.
But Kobe never becomes an All-Star and never wins a championship without Shaq.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not a fact. That's not a fact. No, you don't know basketball. That's not a fact. Kobe, you crazy? You ain't one of bro. Kobe Bryant was coming
without Shaquille O'Neal, bro.
No. Hell no. Kobe number 8 numbers and 24 numbers was the same as number 8 numbers. Don't even do the and by the way.
No. He's better. He was better with 24. I have stats. He's better with 24.
Let me finish. And by the way, if you just track 3 years from the 24 number, if you was the 24 is better. If you just track 3 years from the 24, because remember after 3 years after he tore his Achilles, that's when it was over. So if you think about it, stop it. Shaq, I love Shaq, I respect Shaq, but here's the thing that people always hate about Kobe, and y'all don't want to tell the truth. Shaq, as good as Shaq was, Shaq played with a lot of great players. Penny Hardaway before he got hurt, he hadn't made it to the finals, but he couldn't even win with Penny Hardaway. He started winning.
He got to the finals with Penny Hardaway.
He didn't win. A champion. He didn't win. He didn't win.
He got to the finals.
He didn't win.
Bro.
He started winning because of Kobe. Go look at Listen, go look at the series against Portland in 2000 West Conference.
Shaq got to championships before Kobe was in the league. If there was no Shaq, there is no Kobe Bryant, bro. Like that's what I'm saying.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. How you gonna say that if Kobe won more championships than Shaq? How you gonna say that? Kobe won more championships than Shaq. And what did he do? He got killed by the dream. If you look at it,
did Kobe do what I said?
All I know, he got the 3 finals and he won 2. That's what he did with that Shaq. And he won more championships than Shaq. So how you gonna say somebody made someone that won a championship? Huh?
He won one more championship and got 3.
So championship don't matter. So it don't matter.
He got 3 more Shaq.
All right, let me ask you a question. Cause Shaq won championship without Kobe.
Yes, he did. He won
What championship? What Dwayne Wade? When he was even carrying the team. With Dwayne Wade, he wasn't even carrying the team.
No, Wade was carrying the team, but Shaq was
exactly. If you look at the Western Conference, okay, look, Shaq, look. I'm a basketball fan, and I want every basketball fan to go on YouTube or Google, watch everything. When Shaq was winning championship with Kobe, look from the playoffs how Kobe carried that team to the playoffs. Go look at the Portland series when Shaq got fouled out, how Kobe carried them. Go look at the Indiana series, how Kobe carried them. But y'all don't want to talk about that.
You're talking about one game.
I'm not talking. I told you 2 series. I told you 2 series. I said Indiana and Portland.
Yes, but you're talking about one game where Shaq fouled out and then Kobe carried him. But Kobe won the rest of the game. But what I'm saying is, how Shaq still got the Finals MVP? How?
Because his numbers was good. He had great numbers. Okay, let me ask you a question.
He's the best player on the team.
Huh?
He's the best player on the team.
He was a dominant, but he wasn't. He was dominant, but he wasn't the best.
All three times. Why he winning the Finals MVP? Why
he had great numbers.
MVP? Why is he
Who was guarding Shaq? Who was guarding Shaq? Who was guarding Shaq? Let's be real. Who was guarding Shaq?
Huh?
Who was guarding Shaq?
In those finals?
No, I'm saying in Indiana. Let's be real.
Rick Smits was guarding him. Yeah, I ain't saying he was getting guarded by no defense.
Huh?
All I'm saying
let's be real.
Kobe Bryant was getting guarded by Reggie Miller. That ain't no damn defender.
Reggie Miller was a good defender.
No, he
Get
wasn't.
the hell out of here, bro.
Reggie Miller was a good defender.
He was not, bro.
And Kobe was going at it. Reggie Miller, Jalen Rose, Robert Jackson, they were good defenders.
Conversation with your man.
They were good defenders.
He's good. He's a good offensive player. You tripping.
And
Reggie Miller.
And you got to think about it. And you got to think about it.
Yeah, this man
Kobe, you got to think about it. Them guys wasn't even going off on Shaq offensively. Shaq was resting defensively. Kobe had to keep going and guarding. Kobe had to play both ends of the floor. Kobe had to play both ends of the floor.
15 rebounds and goddamn.
Yo, we going off topic, bro. I don't understand, bro.
Then you got to think about it. All the players in the NBA that played against Shaq, LeBron, and Kobe. Why every player that ever played against them boys always put Kobe on top of Kobe ahead of all them players? Why they do that?
Bro.
That's not my opinion. That's a fact.
No,
because he got more championships.
These guys that played against them,
bro.
Yeah,
but they're NBA players. They're not fans. They're NBA players.
Hello.
Then what do people say about Shaq?
Hello.
The most dominant force to ever play basketball.
I mean, we know this. But listen, I just can't believe you said that Tracy McGrady is not on the same level.
Not on the same level as Kobe
he's
Bryant.
good. He's one Kobe.
Bro, I'm not a famer. He's not good.
Yeah, he's a Hall of
Famer. But let's be real. Let's be real. Everybody.
Hey, he's a Hall of Famer with no rings, bro.
Everybody makes it to the Hall of Fame. You know the NBA Hall of Fame. If you look at the NBA Hall of Fame, everybody makes it. Let's be real.
Hey, so brother,
I pick Iverson over T-Mac any day of the week.
Those are my super favorite players.
I pick Iverson over T-Mac.
Hey,
I think Iverson was over T-Mac.
My two favorite players, you know what I'm saying?
I said, bro, let's be real. Tristan McGrady never could carry a team. That's point blank.
He never played with another all-star, brother.
That's not
when he was in Houston. They made the playoffs.
Yeah, but they made
bro, he can't even get out the first round, bro.
He was hurt.
Let's be real.
With Yao Ming and Ron Artest. He was hurt. That's the only time he had another all-star with him, bro.
Then you finna tell me a guy that can never get out the first round. I like T-Mac. I think T-Mac was a great player. But let's be real.
Obviously not. If you're disrespecting him.
I'm not disrespecting him. He's not. You can't put him on Kobe. You can't. And everybody that noticed, I've been arguing about this since I was a kid.
We're not talking about legacy. We're talking about prime.
T-Mac, baby.
You can't. To be honest with you, I put Iverson ahead of T-Mac. I put Iverson ahead of T-Mac. I put T-Mac. He's about Kobe Bryant.
Iverson ahead of Kobe.
Oh, stop disrespecting Kobe being Bryant, bro. Nobody's checking for T-Mac. Let's be real. Stop it.
Bro, you trying to tell me in 2000, if that Tracy McGrady would have played with Shaq, he wouldn't win no titles?
You can't say that. I don't know that for sure.
Come on, man.
I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure.
What's the next subject?
I don't know for sure. Because he had Yao Ming. He wasn't a threat with Yao Ming.
Yao Ming ain't set.
Bro.
But y'all told me Yao Ming's a Hall of Fame.
Number one,
said Yao Ming's a Hall of Fame.
Number one, we know he was in his prime for that 4 years that he was in Orlando, bro. When he went to
you was in 4 years, but I'm using 20 years of Kobe. You was in 4 years, but I'm using 20 years of Kobe.
So
resume, bro.
But we were talking about their prime, bro. We weren't
talking
about
their
resume,
prime. Yeah, we're not talking about resume.
And you talk about
Kobe his prime.
Tracy McGrady can't hold a candle. Prime.
Yeah, you talking about prime for prime? You can't.
You can't.
You tripping?
And Kobe whooped his ass 1-on-1 too.
Bro.
Yeah, it's out there. And Kobe whooped his ass 1-on-1. Hey, and Tristan McGrady.
I didn't know we was on here talking about our feelings, bro. I thought we was talking about facts.
Yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact. I'm not gonna put in a guy that
he's a
can't get out
Lakers
of.
fan, man.
The defense is in the same category with Kobe. Steve Francis is in the same category with Kobe. Steve Francis is up there too.
You said Steve Francis?
Hey,
that's what we Tracy McGrady?
Over Tracy McGrady?
That's what we're saying. No, I said Steve Francis is in the same category as Kobe if we're gonna name guys.
So you gonna put Steve Francis over Tracy McGrady?
I'm not putting him. I'm just saying y'all. I'm not putting him. I'm saying y'all might as well put him.
That's what I'm saying. You putting Tracy McGrady and Steve Francis in the same breath, bro.
Nah, Tracy McGrady is better than Steve Francis.
Like he's just a guy. Tracy McGrady is better than a lot of motherfuckers. Tracy McGrady was that thing out there on that basketball court.
I don't think. You know, he didn't have no cable. He was just.
No, nigga, you didn't have cable. I had cable.
You didn't have cable.
Let's be real.
2000.
I had cable.
That's why early 2000s.
If you had anybody that knew me in Palm Beach, they're like, I was the only nigga that I was going against. When people were trying to hype up T-Mac, I'm like, all right. I'll give T-Mac his prop.
In fact, you got some T-Mac shoes. I remember in high school, you wearing them T-Macs. You have respect for T-Mac. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, because it was on clearance. I need some basketball shoes.
What the fuck?
There was on clearance.
No respect. You got them when they first got
out. My mom gave me $150. T-Mac was like, what, $39.99? Economically, it makes sense.
This man is disrespectful
you're disrespectful out here, bro. Don't put Kobe in the same comment. Don't put T-Mac in the same comment for Kobe. Stop it.
I don't know
what he been seeing, bro.
So you got Kobe Bryant on?
Huh?
I don't know who the fuck he
thinks. Is T-Mac a top 15 player of all time?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Is T-Mac a top 15 player of all time?
Ladies and gentlemen, whenever you see Berto on the basketball court, do not let him pick a team. He's not a great GM, as you can see.
He is not a value. He's not a good
basketball IQ is terrible. Like
ladies and gentlemen, if you let these guys pick T-Mac, the only thing we're 100% sure is y'all not gonna win the championship, and y'all not gonna get out of the first round. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Let's let the boy. That's not my opinion. It's a fact.
Talking about T-Mac's prime, like he compared T-Mac's prime to somebody like goddamn Malcolm Brogdon or some shit like that, bro.
T-Mac, like I said,
I'm not saying T-Mac wasn't.
He was one of the top 2 players in the league.
Listen, I'm not saying T-Mac is not great. That's not what I'm saying. I just have a problem. You put him in the same conversation with Kobe, and it's not, bro. You can't. You can't put Kobe. No, we're talking about prime. You can't. If you want to, I put Iverson.
You're saying if you want to say Iverson does not compare to Kobe Bryant.
No. If you want to say Iverson was, if you want to put Iverson prime against Kobe prime, Iverson best. Okay, we could talk. Iverson's Kobe, but we could have the conversation. But I'm not putting for T-Mac.
Conversation about T-Mac.
No, you can't. You can't. T-Mac was just a scorer. That's it. That's all T-Mac was, just a scorer.
Let's wrap this up.
That's all T-Mac was, just a scorer.
Let's wrap it up.
Got me sweating out here.
Yeah. That's what T-Mac. All T-Mac did was score. That's what he was.
Let's wrap it up, man. Wrap it up, brother.
Y'all need to stop, man. Stop being disrespectful, man. I know it's 2020. A lot of bad shit been happening, but don't be disrespectful in 2020, man.
Hey, wrap it up.
The same energy I had in the past. Y'all want to put everything,
bro.
The boy Burrow got coronavirus out here, bro. Talking this foolish shit, bro.
Hey, these are facts. These are facts. Hey, these are facts.
Hey,
let the GMs. Hey, Royal and Bees, they gonna pick T-Mac. They're gonna be out of the first round every time.
You gonna tell me if Tracy McGrady played with Shaq in the 2000s, he would not win nothing?
Can't say that, bro.
All I want to say is please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Repost.
You can't say that. You can't say that. Bro, you can't say that.
Listen, do you want to share your social media, Royal?
Yeah, I got a new podcast that I came out with called Struggle Mills Podcast. I want people to check that out. We talk about anime and like cartoons and shit like that. So if you ain't interested in that kind of stuff, don't check it out. If you are, then check it out. And yeah, bro, we need to have a part 2 of this. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Wherever you listen to your podcast, it's posted on there. It's on YouTube. We got videos and we got audio. So whatever you're interested in, we got that for you.
All right, man.
Yeah, we definitely need to have a part 2, man, because you guys are crazy.
Yeah, man. But please like and subscribe,
Absolutely.
repost, let y'all friends know about us, man. It's the Big Show Podcast, and we out, man.
Hey, I just want to say before we hang up, even though when Kobe's gone, he still get disrespected by clowns like y'all.
What
Yeah,
a
listen. It's because of the fact that Kobe's gone that I don't hold my tongue when I talk about him, bro. I'm not gonna disrespect this man's legacy by lying about him in depth.
Listen, I just can't believe you just said T-Mac cannot sit at the same table.
He cannot sit at the same table as Kobe, man.
Yeah, y'all.
Championships matter, guys.
Y'all holler at us on part 2 of this shit, man.
Y'all must forgot the Black Mamba.